Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News, Monday, February 2nd, 2026. Stand up for your country. Well, I'm happy to see that our pal Don Lemon did not miss the big Grammy party after being arrested at the Beverly Hills Hotel. Now, I'm laughing because this is what Lemon wanted to happen. And I write about it in my column on BillO'Reilly.com, and I hope you take a look. And it's not really an important story, but it is demonstrative of where we are in this country right now. So there is an enormous drive to portray President Trump as a fascist brutalizer, and the ICE roundup of illegal migrants is the spear point of that drive. That's a very important story because now foreign money is involved. So let me encapsulate it all in the talking points memo. The corrupt U.S. media is not very interested in the story we broke last week, whereby we named an American citizen, a man named Neville Roy Singham, a billionaire tech guy who lives in Shanghai, China, and works in concert with the communist government there. We told you that he is pumping tens of millions of dollars into the United States to foster rebellion. He does this through 501c, nonprofit, far left organizations. The money comes from China into those organizations. The organizations pay protesters to go out and commit mayhem. If you missed our reporting, which is now worldwide, we broke this story in detail. It is on BillO'Reilly.com. If you become a concierge member, which will enhance your life, you can get a transcript of every single word I say. Okay? But if you're not familiar with the story, go to BillO'Reilly.com and look at what we did last week. Now, you would think that every American would say, we can't allow foreign adversaries like China or Russia or the jihadists to pump money into our country to destabilize it. That's terrible. You got to stop that, right? Well, it doesn't seem like the corrupt American media is very interested. CNN didn't mention the story. MS Now didn't mention it. David Muir on ABC News didn't mention it. Dave was busy covering the weather as he usually does. NBC, CBS newscast didn't mention it. We kind of missed it. I don't know how. It was out there big. Fox, Newsmax, and especially News Nation. They're the best at it. They did highlight the story. So you have to ask yourself, why would these major television news agencies, and the newspapers weren't very aggressive covering it either, why would they do it? Because it doesn't fit in to their main goal of destroying Donald Trump. That's why. Simple as that. Horrible. It's just horrible. Now, over the weekend, there were protests in the usual places, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, and a few others around the country. They didn't amount to much. But LA and Portland are very active 501cs. They get a lot of money, and they hire people and get people out there to create mayhem. In LA, second largest city in the country, there were 8 arrests. Okay? None of those people will be charged. Here's what the mayor said. Go.
I believe there's still about 150 people that are in an intersection. And I know that there have been arrests, and I believe they're up to about 5 arrests right now. And those arrests are for failure to disperse. You know, of course, that the overall reason for the protest today was in solidarity with Minneapolis, and that there were protests all around the country.
Well, they really weren't. This is in Vietnam. There was the usual far-left cranks mobilized in social media. They have lists and names, send them out, go here. You know the drill. All right. Now, in concert with all of this is Minneapolis. So tomorrow, the mayor of the town, Jacob Fry, far left guy, has to deliver information to a federal grand jury. Now, we thought last week that he would have to appear himself, but that's not the case now. He's been subpoenaed, and the federal prosecutors have asked for information. Okay, we're having a lot of trouble getting what the Justice Department is doing. The FBI delivered the subpoenas not only to Fry, but to the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz. As best I can determine, all right, this is the reason. And we have, believe me, spent hours on this. The investigation is into whether Fry and Walz obstructed or impeded federal law enforcement during a sweeping immigration operation in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. So those two men are being investigated on federal charges of obstruction of justice. Not insurrection yet, not rebellion, obstruction of justice. That is what we can ascertain. But I can't swear to it. Now, we've been in touch with the FBI. They're not going to tell us anything. And I understand when you have an active investigation, whether it's local, state, federal, cops don't want to be feeding stuff out. They want to gather the data. Oh, right, I got it. But this is so important for the American people to know. So what are you looking at in Minnesota? FBI, Justice Department, Pam Bondi. What are you looking at? That's all. All right, you know, we are a due process outfit here. We're not going to convict anybody of anything. Just give us an overview. Very difficult to get anything. In addition, the FBI has now taken over the investigation into the death of Alex Preddy. You'll remember on January 24th, he was shot dead by Border Patrol agents, and it's a big controversy. It's driving a lot of this, of these protests. And we're not litigating it here. That's insane. That's what they do on the corrupt television networks. We're not going to do that. But it is important that the FBI investigate this because the Border Patrol can't investigate the Border Patrol. ICE can't investigate ICE. That's crazy. So I'm happy to hear that. All right. But the bigger story is the rebellion by a state. And Victor Davis Hanson, and we send our condolences to Professor Hanson because he has lung cancer, wrote a column that mirrored mine. I think it broke yesterday. That look, this is no different than what happened before the Civil War with the South. It's no different. It's the same exact thing. States going, blank you, federal government, we're going to do what we want, and let's see what you got. Big. So I hope that you understand my job is to get as much information to you as I can. We're all over this thing. And that's the memo. Now, the other part of the story is the Treasury Secretary, Bessent. All right, now we have put a call into the Department of the Treasury and asked for the Secretary to come on and talk to me. We got a big middle finger. Very disrespectful, extremely so. Very disappointed because I like this guy. Scott Bessent has been a good Treasury Secretary. He's articulate. But you don't do that, Mr. Secretary. You don't do that to a worldwide news agency that reaches tens of millions of people. You don't say, just ignore the request. So maybe got lost in the, I don't know. But here's why we want to talk to Bessent. Because one of the heroes of this whole story is Congressman Jason Smith of Missouri. We had him on last week. Now, he is the chair of the House Committee on Ways and Means. And last October, that committee asked Secretary Bessent to look into revoking the tax exempt status of these radical left organizations that are destroying American cities and putting ICE agents in danger. That was in October. Nothing's been done. Bessent hasn't mentioned it. Now, we find out that last week, he's now looking to recruit a new quote unquote top cop to police these nonprofits. Boy, you're late to the game. And that's what we wanted to talk to him about. Come on, let's go. There's some urgency here. People are dying, literally dying. I mean, the danger to ICE agents is through the roof, not just civilians. And these are the groups that are doing it. And they're getting tax-free exempt status and taking money from Shanghai. This is what I mean about a giant federal colossus. Okay, federal government, they don't act quickly and they don't tell you much. One more caveat, because I want to introduce President Trump into this debate. Trump is a very candid guy, very transparent. He answers to all the questions. You may not like the answers, but he does. But nobody even asked him about this. They're not even asking him about it. They're trying to do an Epstein thing on him. That's all they care about, Epstein. Because they think they can get him. They're not going to get him on Epstein. This is just garbage. This is the story. If you are stressed out about getting out of debt, please listen to this. According to the Federal Reserve's latest survey, many banks have tightened their standards, which means right now could be your best window for negotiating settlements before lenders tighten up even further. And Done with Debt is one of the best I've seen at navigating debt relief. Done with Debt tracks credit card and loan company behavior, so they know who's negotiating and when, and how to get you the biggest reduction possible without bankruptcy or new loans. Done with Debt helps you through the debt relief process so you can keep more of your paycheck every month. So don't wait for lenders to tighten up their policies. Visit donewithdebt.com now. Talk with a debt specialist. It is free. Donewithdebt.com. Joining us now from Madison, Mississippi, is Chris Hinkle, former FBI supervisory agent. He now runs J.N. and Associates, a investigative service. Resume is impeccable. Knows the FBI as well as any human being in the country. Thank you for speaking with us, Mr. Hinkle. First of all,
thank you for having me on.
12 minutes, I just rambled. Did I make any mistakes in your opinion?
I didn't hear one mistake.
Okay. I am frustrated as a journalist because I believe the federal government has more of an obligation to paint this picture than they're doing. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And I've been a proponent, and I've made recommendations to the FBI through my contacts that we need to get back to the business of the day of having the professionals in the room. Hold a press conference, stand before a podium, have the people with subject matter knowledge around you, get briefed on it, give your briefing, and then field questions to reporters so that the reporters can get the information that we need. This running around to different podcasts, and no disrespect to yours, I understand why there is some reluctance because you ask cogent, civil and cogent pointed questions. And those things are often tough for our elected and appointed representatives.
Well, if they can't answer, they can just say, I can't answer now. Look, we put in a call to Kash Patel, he turned us down. All right, he doesn't want any part of this. Head of the FBI. Okay. I mean, Comey wasn't going to come on when Biden was in. We got it. And then Bessent did what Bessent did. But right now, what I'm looking at is a story where a foreign adversary, through an American citizen, is pumping in tens, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to foster violence in this country. And we can't get any kind of direction from the people who are supposed to protect us from that. That's crazy.
I do think that they do need to take the time to say, here are the things that we are doing that we're looking into. You don't have to name specific people because I do think that would be a violation of due process. But you can say, here are the activities that we're looking into. You can say, here are some of the things that we're doing. You don't have to get super technical on it. I am confident that the FBI is looking into this. They're very good at tying things together, from financial to physical actions to networks and things like that. It does take time.
But
And
it
I
would
hope
make
that the
them
public
look good if you're very confident, and you know way better than I do, it would make them look good to explain it. See, this is the conundrum. It would make Kash Patel look good. Now, I know he has to get permission to do it. I understand the bureaucracy of the FBI is ridiculous, but it makes the federal government look good if they can explain, look, we're taking this seriously, right?
I agree. I think you should talk about the investigative measures that you are taking. What I counter people with are the people out there that are saying, I want to see somebody in handcuffs right now.
Yeah. We don't do that.
I'd like to see people in handcuffs, but I don't want to see people in handcuffs only to have their case overturned later.
Yeah, unless there's evidence about it. Right. Now, do you believe, as a trained investigator, many years of experience, that the state of Minnesota, under Walz and Frye, is in rebellion against the United States, or am I overstating this?
I don't think you're overstating it. As my good friend Jim Galliano said in his New York Post piece, it has all the hallmarks of insurrection that's going on from these individuals in these states. These states can't come in and tell the federal government, you're not going to enforce federal law, and they're not to put obstacles in the way. We have the supremacy clause under Article 6 of the Constitution of the United States that says that we get to do this. The president has plenary power under Article 2 of as the Article 2 branch of the United States to execute these types of investigations. And I'll go even one step further. Under the Alien Enemies Act, with dealing with foreign nationals that are coming in and affecting things inside through crime and stuff, that case was litigated back in 1948. And you know what the Supreme Court said? It's not subject to judicial review. The president has this power. And when we have a governor and a mayor trying to stand in the way of that, it puts lives in danger, not just the citizens' lives in danger.
There's already been
it puts these officers' lives in danger.
These two Minnesota citizens who were killed would be alive if the Minneapolis police had protected the ICE agents. Right?
Well, not just protected the ICE agents, but protected the citizens. It's a very dangerous situation.
But stood in the middle and prevented this kind of chaos. But they didn't.
And that's not a violation. That's not a violation of your First Amendment rights. You have a right to protest. You have a right to march. You have a right to
but they were interfering in the investigation.
You don't have a right to interfere in a law enforcement operation.
And that's what they were clearly doing, both of the victims. All right, Mr. Engel, I hope you will, if you get anything, any inkling, because I want to be fair here. I'm not looking to downgrade the FBI or anything like that. I am almost beside myself in the sense that I don't think their messaging is helping this country right now. That's where I'm coming from.
I agree.
All right. So if you can cajole them or whatever, Kash Patel is welcome anytime on this program. And if he can't answer, I'll respect that. I'm not going to scorn him or anything like that. All right, Mr. Engel, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. If you are a homeowner, there's no better time than now to call American Financing to wipe out that debt, eliminate the stress, set yourself up for a strong 2026. The Fed dropped rates for the fourth time in December. American Financing can help you access that equity in your home at an interest rate that's in the low fives. That is a much lower rate than the average 20% or more credit card rate. American Financing is saving their customers an average of $800 a month. There are no upfront fees, no obligation to see how much you can save. If you begin today, might be able to delay 2 mortgage payments. So please call 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Let's face it, the U.S. economy is under stress. National debt rising, trade war shaking the markets. And meanwhile, China is dumping the dollar and stockpiling gold. That's why I protected my savings with physical gold and silver through the only dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. And you can do this. Get precious metals delivered to your door or placed in a tax-advantaged gold IRA. They'll even help you roll over your existing IRA or 401k, tax and penalty free. With billions in precious metals delivered, thousands of five-star reviews, and an A+ from the Better Business Bureau, you can trust American Hartford Gold as I do. Please call 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Again, that's 866-501-5201 or text BILL to 65532. Okay, here is the final thought. The documentary Melania in the theaters over the weekend. Of course, the Trump haters hate Melania. They hate anything to do with Donald Trump. They hate. Movie did pretty well. About 10 million, highest for a documentary in many, many years. It got mocked, it got scorned, it got lied about. And the leader of the pack, again, is Jimmy Kimmel. Go.
This weekend, the long-anticipated documentary Melania will hit theaters. According to the Wall Street Journal, Melania pocketed $28 million of the licensing fee for the film. You know, between this and her marriage, she's probably the highest-paid actress in the world. Melania, the movie, is expected to bring in between $1 and $5 million at the box office, well behind the horror movie Send Help, which incidentally would have been a much better title for the documentary.
All right, so number one, Jim booted the gross of the documentary. Number two, we cannot confirm that Melania Trump pocketed $28 million. I find that extremely hard to believe. Not that Jimmy Kimmel cares. He doesn't. But I don't think so. Could be wrong. Maybe somebody slipped her the coin. I don't know. But we can't confirm it. And here's why I'm doing this. Do I care what Jimmy Kimmel said? No. I guess as I get older, I get smarter. I don't know. I don't care what Don Lemon says, what Steve Kerr says, or Jimmy Kimmel says. To me, it's amusement. It's like Mad Magazine. That's what it's like. Remember Mad Magazine? Look what they say. But this wave of Trump hatred has really taken root in this country. I mean, people, that's all they hear now. Trump is the devil, he's a fascist, a Nazi, on and on and on. That I object to. Because there's not another counter to that. There's a Fox, there's Newsmax, and, News Nation tries to be fair on both sides. But it's overwhelming. It's 85, 90%. We hate him, we hate him, we hate him. Not good on any level. It really isn't. And that's why I report on stories like this. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. Got a good week, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Monday, January 16th, 2023, Martin Luther King holiday. Stand up for your country. So no holiday for us. There's too much going on. And I'm starting to really dislike Joe Biden on a personal level. It's unusual for me. I don't dislike Bill Clinton. Hillary, on the fence. I lean toward disliking Hillary. Don't dislike Bush the younger. Barack Obama and I had a fairly respectful relationship. Donald Trump obviously is a friend of mine. But Joe Biden, he's doing bad things. And I'm going to give you another bunch of examples here. So he's exploiting the Martin Luther King holiday, first of all. We're going to prove that to you in a moment. He's basically telling African Americans how they're getting screwed. All right? And the Democratic Party does this all day long. You know that. And perpetuates the victim class. All right? So the country's, even though we've made a lot of strides, you're still getting hosed. Joe Biden, are going to fight against that. Okay, so he comes out with a bunch of economic stats today, which look to me to be bogus, but I've asked my staff to fact check them for tomorrow. They just came out. He just gave a speech. I can't just knee-jerk this kind of stuff like most of the pundits on TV do. I've got to really look at the record, and that we have to go back to the primary source material, which is the government reporting. It takes a little time. But believe me, tomorrow I will have what Biden said about the economy and African Americans and what is true. But I can't do it tonight. I wish I could, but I can't. But I got something almost as good. All right, so we're going to analyze how Joe Biden himself is dealing with African Americans, and that is the subject of the Talking Points memo. The situation with African Americans is the same as with white Americans when you view President Biden. So let's take this document thing. So for years, Biden was pounding Trump over Trump taking documents from the White House to Mar-a-Lago that he shouldn't have taken. There's no doubt that's true. Trump should not have taken those documents. If he declassified them, there's a process for that, okay? And the former president cannot show that he went through the process. He says he declassified them, but we can't see it. Maybe after this special counsel we'll see it. I don't know. But at this point, it would have been far better off for Donald Trump himself and the country had he left the classified documents in the White House and sent them over to the National Archives. Okay, can we all agree on that? So Biden hammers him this way and that, justifies the FBI raid, which was totally outrageous, never should have happened. And he's doing the same thing, Biden. So whether you're black or white or whatever color you are, you got to see this. He's doing the same thing. So on Saturday, a White House lawyer finds more documents, 6, in Biden's private library in Delaware. That's added to the 10 they found at the Penn Center in D.C. And then they found others in his garage next to his Corvette. And totally, according to CBS News, more than 20 top secret classified documents were in the vice president's possession. Now, on the right-wing newscasts, they are saying, some people, that Biden had no legal right to take any documents that are marked classified. That is not true. Okay? So Barack Obama issued Executive Order 13526 that gave the vice president the same authority, okay, as a president to declassify documents. Okay, so Biden has that power as vice president. He had it, and Pence had it, according to this document, this executive order, which wasn't overturned. Now, I'm in the business of telling you the truth. Now, how many times have you heard and read that Biden as vice president had no right, no declassification status at all? It must have been 1,000 times if you followed the news. It's not true. However, Biden has no excuse for taking these documents and has not provided any. Why would you do it? For what reason? Now, to be fair, Trump hasn't explained why he did it either. They just say, well, we did it. Now, they don't pack their own boxes. We know that. All right. The general services, accounting people do that. But the president, whatever, is supposed to say, take this, don't take this, take that. But Trump didn't do that. Believe me. So the Democrats, including African Americans, most of them are Democrats, have a big problem with Biden and the documents and the special counsel now looking into him and all of that. I said last week, I don't believe that either Trump or Biden, anything's going to happen to them because they're going to fall back on they didn't know what was in the garage or the basement in Florida. And unless you intentionally do it, there's not going to be anything happen. That's how Hillary Clinton got away with it, even though she did intentionally erase the documents. The FBI said she didn't. She did. Okay. So the media now is a problem because they're aligned with Joe Biden because they hate Donald Trump. The media has a problem. Now, how to cover this Biden thing. All right, roll the tape.
The Washington Post says the Trump and Biden classified document revelations are not the same. There's no indication at this point either that the scale of information withheld from the government is as large or, more importantly, that Biden or his team endeavored to hide the documents from the Justice Department.
Now, it's worth noting there's one giant difference between these two investigations. President Trump actively defied a subpoena, and his lawyer lied on a federal form regarding the return of those classified documents. There was no subpoena in Biden's case.
As you continue to compare what Trump did and what Biden did around classified documents, it can really end up being something that Biden's base can become energized by, because a lot of people are going to say, wait a minute, this only spells out more clearly how egregious what Trump did was.
That's called spin. All three. Washington Post, Chuck Todd, who just lost his blanket mind, by the way. Chuck Todd. I mean, the mask is off, okay? Hey, Chuck, why don't you just resign at NBC and go over and work for Biden? Okay? I mean, be true to yourself, all right? And then Sharpton, representing African Americans, of course. Oh, Trump. So whatever Biden does is not going to be bad because Trump is worse. Very simple. And it worked in 2020. That's why Biden got elected. I may be incompetent. I may be too old to know what I'm doing, but Trump is worse. And unfortunately, 80 million Americans bought it. Now, that's going to be the same theme in 24 if Trump is the nominee. Same thing. No matter who the Democrats put up, okay, it's going to be Trump is worse. All right, could be Putin. If Putin moves here, gets naturalized, and moves to a state. Okay, the latest is that Putin is going to resign. I can't even tell you. I sit there, my mouth is agape at the so-called news media, backing up nothing. All right, anyway, so the first presidential primary is a year away, January 30th in New Hampshire. And of course, the Democratic Party is trying to change the system so South Carolina votes first. Because their African Americans dominate the primaries there. What they're trying to do. I don't think they're going to be successful in doing that, but anything can happen. Okay, so let's get back then. That's the memo. Let's get back to Biden. So Biden goes down to the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, where Martin Luther King was the pastor. Okay, Dr. King, by the way, would be 94 years old today had he lived. And here's what Biden says.
Progress is never easy, but it's always possible. And the things do get better on our march toward a more perfect union. But at this inflection point, we know there's a lot of work that has to continue on economic justice, civil rights, voting rights, on protecting our democracy. And I'm remembering that our job is to redeem the soul of America.
Yeah, we've lost our soul. It's a terrible country. And Joe Biden's job is to redeem us all, like Jesus. Like Jesus. Well, I'm going to redeem us all. This country is so bad. It's horrible. And you African Americans, you know that. So we need economic justice, which is socialism. Government will give you things. San Francisco, and we're going to do this tomorrow, their recommendation is $5 million cash for each African American living in the city. Okay? Then civil rights, that means equity, where blacks are first in line for everything. Everything. Okay? Voting rights, I don't know what that is because more people voted in midterms in November than ever before, but not voting rights. They hate that ID. You can't have that ID. Got to be able to vote now for eight months ahead and 4 months after. Yeah. Or you're suppressing voting rights if you ask for that ID, and protecting our democracy, because Trump wanted to take the democracy right away from all of us. Yeah, and you know it. You African-American voters know it. So, I mean, this is garbage. Hateful. This is hateful. So that's why I said at the top of the program, I'm starting to dislike Biden. Personally dislike him, because I think he's a hater now. I do. Now, you can make an argument that he doesn't know what he's saying, and this is all written for him. That's true. And I don't even think he reads it over, but he might. But it doesn't really matter, does it? He's responsible. This is just hateful stuff. Peddler's victimization to African Americans. You're getting screwed by this country. It's awful. Awful. Now, in the face of all that I've just laid out to you, the media is still in Biden's corner, even though they're getting tougher on the document stuff, because I know this to be a fact. The presidents of NBC, CBS, and ABC News have ordered their White House correspondents to ask tough questions about the documents. They were ordered to do it because it's so embarrassing. Their coverage has been so embarrassing pro-Biden. But there was a fascinating soundbite on yesterday, out of Fox News. Go.
I think you can just look at the New York Post or Fox News and remember when he announced his election campaign, Florida man announces re-election, page 26.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that the majority of conservative media, Fox first and foremost, has a strong desire to move on from Donald Trump and are not paying enough attention and giving him enough airtime and ink as they used to.
How about that? It's a gutsy soundbite from Mara Eliason. Pretty interesting. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. I want to tell you about GhostBed. GhostBed has been designing high-quality sleep products for more than 2 decades with more than 50,000 positive customer reviews. Wow. GhostBed has luxury mattresses and premium sheets that get softer with every wash. Their mattresses have a cooling feature. Each is made with their signature Ghost Ice fabric, perfect for hot sleepers. Get fast and free shipping, plus a 101-night sleep trial with free returns. Trying their mattress is truly risk-free. So please go online, take their quiz to find out the ideal mattress for your sleeping style. Get 30% off GhostBed mattresses plus 2 free luxury pillows, or get 40% off when you bundle a mattress with their award-winning adjustable base. Use promo code BILL at ghostbed.com/bill to take advantage of this fabulous offer. That's ghostbed.com/bill, promo code BILL. Okay, here is the mail. David Hernandez, Conway, Arkansas. The special counsel to investigate Joe Biden will be the same as the rest. No results. Provide cover for witnesses. Nobody can answer questions due to an ongoing investigation. That'll be interesting to see, David, if your prediction is correct. If these congressional committees subpoena people and they come in and go, you know, I can't. It's only the law enforcement officials who can't comment. Everybody else can comment. And the law enforcement officials could comment if they wanted to. There's no law against it. Joe Severino, Bronx, New York. Bill, why were President Biden's lawyers searching his offices and home anyway? It would seem that high-powered lawyers wouldn't be doing something like that as routine. Well, I mean, that's why the special counsel's there. He's supposed to find that out. Sharon wasn't established when President Trump left office. The GSA was responsible for packing up his papers and having them shipped to Mar-a-Lago. Yes, General Services does all that. But the people in power, the president, vice president, senators, whatever, they say, take this, don't take that, take this, don't take that. GSA doesn't make those decisions. Diane Benson, West Caldwell, New Jersey. Bill, do you ever wonder if years ago Obama said, Joe, get rid of these boxes for me? Think of the content, Ukraine, Iran. Diane, the conspiracy stuff is everywhere. I hope you're not invested in it, but no, I never really wondered about that. Catherine, Hunter's laptop news suppressed before the 2020 election. Biden's classified documents suppressed before 22. What will happen before 24? I don't know, but the Biden information was suppressed by Biden himself about the documents, not by the media. And the media did suppress Hunter Biden, no doubt about it. Arthur Smith, Fredericksburg, Texas, in the Hill Country. Been there, great place. The classified document solution is simple. Don't let the president or vice president take the documents. Okay, but that's the law now. You got to declassify before you can take them. The law is okay. Law is there. It's just being ignored. Or so it seems. Dina Holman, Manchester, New Jersey. I strongly disagree with you, Bill, about your current legal immigration numbers. If you have 1 million or more a year, what about chain migration? I heard one legal immigrant brings about 20 new immigrants, inflating the total numbers. Well, look, there is some chain migration, but it's not, they can just bring them in. They got to go through the process. And if you wanted to limit that, you pass a law. It says, here's the legal immigration. Here's who you can bring, who you can't bring, and you define it. But we need legal immigrants in this country, Deanna. We need them. Do the jobs that other people don't want. And that's true. They don't want them. Carol Harrington, Rochester, New York. Really enjoy your appearances on Cuomo's show. You're a legend. It's nice to see a side of Chris Cuomo that was never exposed on CNN. And it's always good to get both sides of a story. I will be on Cuomo's News Nation program on Wednesday. That looks like my slot now, every Wednesday. So I think it's good. I think it's working out okay. But if you see something you don't like, bill@BillO'Reilly.com, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. Robert Wellhofer, Point Pleasant, New Jersey, another cliche from the get-go, as bad as at the end of the day. No, it's not as bad as at the end of the day, because every athlete now, everyone, at the end of the day, we have to win the game. Get-go, overused. Lake Ulbrich, D'Hanis, Texas. I don't know that town. I thought I'd been to everywhere in Texas. Hanis, Texas. Mr. O'Reilly, I'm absolutely loving Killing the Killers. The descriptions are vivid, puts you right in a moment. One of the most fascinating books I've ever read. Well, Luke, I appreciate that. Killing the Killers and Killing the Legends, still going strong. I mean, we had 2 books out last year, and they both phenomenal bestsellers. There's Killers. Throw Legends on up there. We appreciate, everybody who gets these books, they love them. So if you haven't read them, I hope you do. And we have a big sale. They call it the Doorbuster sale. No idea what that is, but if you go to BillO'Reilly.com to the store, you get the Doorbuster sale. So Holly, the Terror Dog, and me, we're almost giving you this picture. Throw darts at it. Don't hit the Terror Dog, though. Throw in my countenance. And then all the Christmas ornaments are half off. God Bless America, 3-pack. Discounted. And then we have new products that aren't discounted. We have no spin mugs and all of that. So we got a lot of good stuff in case you got to give a gift or you want to give yourself a gift. Always good to give yourself a gift once a month. Word of the day, no tapery, Tapery, when writing to the No Spin News. Okay, back with final thought in a moment. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. We all know that. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, not only predict a recession, but are using scary terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. So you need to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Please call them today. and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers. They're the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Here is the final thought of the day. So, the average consumer for television news is 70 years old. They fudge the numbers a little, but it's 70, okay? And it's going up. And the 25 to 54s that the advertisers like, because they're mobile, these people are out and about, 25 to 54, they're going down. When I did the factor, it was not unusual for me to do 1 million people in the 25 to 54 demographic. Now, if they get 350,000, they're thrilled. And MSNBC and CNN never get 350,000. Fox, though, you can see it just coming down like this. Now, the danger in that is that pretty soon, I'd say 15 years, the television news is going to be obsolete. Okay, it's not going to be there anymore. Because the younger people are saying, this is boring. We don't want it. We can get our information on the net, even though it's not accurate. I don't want to sit there and watch something that's boring for a half an hour or an hour. That's what it's about. It's boring. All right, now I try to keep this newscast moving. And we got a lot of different stuff that you never hear about on the corporate media, ever. So we think we're providing a valuable service, and our viewership is expanding because of our partners. We got 100 radio stations now carrying the No Spin News at night. All right? That didn't exist even a year ago. And now, our television distribution is worldwide. We get people boom, 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 boom. So I can't even figure it all out because I'm not an internet guy. But I think what we're doing is providing honest information that's important to your life, and that's working. While the others are kind of repetitive and sleepy, and it's not going well for them. Thank you very much for watching and listening to the No Spin News. We will see you tomorrow. Bill O'Reilly here for Lone Star Transfer. Many timeshare owners are upset that their yearly dues continue to increase. And the annual fees never stop, even after you quit using the property. So if you are stuck in a timeshare, you're not alone. With an A+ rating at the Better Business Bureau and hundreds of 5-star testimonials, family-owned Lone Star Transfer is the only company you can trust, guaranteeing the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Lone Star Transfer's customer service is second to none. They will make your experience a pleasant one, done legally, ethically, and quickly. They have 15 years of experience in the timeshare disposal business and are here to help you. So start the new year off right with a free, no-obligation consultation. Call 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. 855-551-7066. Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News. Thursday, September 29th, 2022. Stand up for your country. President Biden's job approval number is going down again. All right, dropped 5 points in 7 days. That's because of the stock market. So this is the last piece of the dismal economy. Just think 2 years ago, America had the most vibrant economy on earth. Every demographic group in the USA's wages were rising. Inflation 1.3%. 2 years ago. Democrats come in, Biden comes in, destroy the entire U.S. economy. There's no doubt about it. If you have friends and you say that and they don't believe it, then they are living in the land of Oz. They're not on Earth. That's what happened. So Americans obviously are catching on. If you have any investments, they're going down. You want to buy a house, interest rates going up. it's on and on and on and on. And I didn't even mention inflation. Crazy inflation. Okay. The bottom line on this, and bottom line is a cliche, but it's the best way to say it, is that there's no leadership in this country right now at the federal level. There's no leadership in Congress. There's no leadership in the executive branch. None. And so we're in a void here. And that's the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. Now, yesterday, President Biden spoke to a group about hunger, okay, food insecurity. And I told you yesterday that the United States is doubling its food stamps, but no test to get it. You don't have to drug test or look for a job. They just give it to you because that's what Biden does. They just spend and spend and spend and spend and spend. That's why we have inflation. Anyway, Biden is giving remarks, and this is what happens. Go.
And I want to thank all of you here for including bipartisan elected officials like Representative Governor, Senator Braun, Senator Booker, Representative Jackie. Are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here to help make this a reality.
Jackie's dead. Okay, so Indiana Congresswoman Jackie Walorski died in a car accident in August. And there's the president want to go, Jackie, are you here? So, I mean, if this was just an isolated occurrence, I'd say, okay, he made a mistake or he forgot or whatever. But it's not isolated. And you know it. He is befuddled. So at the end of her life, my mother was like this. There were days where she was clear, and there were days where just didn't know anything. She could not absorb information, my mother. Now, I made sure that there was somebody around her 24 hours a day so nothing bad would happen to her. But I couldn't come in and just sit down with my mother and have a conversation. She'd smile. She knew who I was, but she couldn't interact and she couldn't absorb information. So if we had dinner and then I said 5 minutes after, what did you eat? My mother couldn't tell me. Biden's not at that stage yet, but he's going there. So there are days where he has some clarity and there are days that he does not, like yesterday. This is scary. The press largely protects Biden, but now it's getting so bad that even the corrupt network media is asking questions. Go.
Look, he was at an event, you all saw, you all watched, which is why you're asking the question, right, where he was calling out, again, congressional leaders, a bipartisan leadership that we have seen on this particular issue. And again, he's going to see her family in just 2 days. And she was on top of mind. I mean, that is not an unusual scenario there.
Karine, I have John Lennon top of mind just about every day, but I'm not looking around for him anywhere.
I have John Lennon on my line just about every day, says the CBS correspondent, but I don't look around for him. So Jean-Pierre's job is to just, try to divert attention from the reality that Joe Biden can't govern. He can't do it. Okay, so there's no question about it. And we are all suffering because of it. So I can't make it any more obvious than this. It's happened one other time in our history. So on October 2nd, 1919, Woodrow Wilson had a stroke. All right, he was on a speaking tour in Pueblo, Colorado, and boom, had a stroke. The Woodrow Wilson administration kept it quiet. And didn't have aggressive press back then, but nobody knew he was incapacitated, but he couldn't do anything, Wilson. And the public didn't know about it until February of 1920. So 5 months, they hid it. Who ran the government? Edith Bowling Wilson, the first lady, ran the government. Congress didn't even know. That's the only time that I can come up with a president incapacitated in office. And Wilson, he was out for the rest of his term. He didn't resign. He should have. It was a scandal. He didn't. But that's what we're seeing now. So they can dress up Biden. He looks good in his threads. He got his little glasses on. They can put a script in front of him. Most of the time he can read it. But he's not governing this country. He's not in charge. So the vice president, if Biden resigns, which I believe he might for health reasons, because this is not going to get any better. So she's over today in Korea, South Korea, at the demilitarized zone. We'll take.
So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
We don't have an alliance with North Korea. They're our enemy. So she did not correct herself. So usually when you make an error, and I do all the time, misspeak, they say, and I do. I mean, I bloviate an awful lot on radio and television, and I'll misspeak. But usually your mind tells you, well, it didn't sound right. We don't have a treaty with North Korea. But Harris didn't correct herself. Why? Because she wasn't thinking about what she was saying. And she never does. She doesn't think. That's why she repeats the same words over and over and over and over again. All right? She doesn't think. She's not engaged in what she's saying. Now, is she got a mental acuity problem? No. She just isn't able to concentrate. There were a lot of people like that. So anyway, the White House is embarrassed, but they're hoping that nobody notices this. And here's what the White House put out about what she said. So the United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of Korea. And it is an alliance that is strong and enduring. This is on whitehouse.gov. So they leave out, they put a statement, a quote up, they leave out the North Korea part. This is what I mean. So, okay, most people are going to pick it up. Most people won't know. But you got a president and a vice president who are in the ozone. And everybody in the Democratic Party, and I mean everybody, and I know a lot of them, you know I do, and I talk to them all the time. Nobody thinks Kamala Harris is going to be able to run for president. So Biden's done. He's not going to run. Harris is done. Keep your eye on Newsom, California. All right, so Biden scheduled today. He had a briefing on Hurricane Ian. He gave some remarks about it. He's saying he's working well with Florida. Good. All right, then the Pacific Island people come and they get some kind of reception. That's fine. Then he goes to dinner for the Islanders. Good. Okay. That's the schedule today. And the federal government will do what they should do to Florida and, give them federal money to help rebuild. That's what the federal government's there for. It's not there, all right, to promote these crazy progressive programs. It's there to help. And that's what it's there for. I want my tax money to help the people in Florida. All right? So you got, 3-4 million lost power in Florida. I call my friends down there. They're okay. But there are people who are dead. We don't know how many yet. Horrible storm. You're going to live in Florida. You're going to live in California. What are you going to get? There are the extremes in climate in America. What do you say? I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's terrible. And people will suffer. And I hope the federal government can go in and rebuild as quickly as possible. There's nothing you could say. It's a terrible storm. Pictures are amazing. And the brave photographers who take these pictures, they never get enough credit. Bill O'Reilly here. Vidgo, V-I-D-G-O, is a new streaming service that gives you live sports and programming you want at a price you can afford. With Vidgo, I get live sports networks, including ESPN and Fox Sports, along with incredible access to college football games, with 80% of every televised college football game in the first 3 weeks of September. 80%. Vidgo also has a great choice of news and entertainment program, including The First, Fox News, Newsmax, and more. On my new weekly program called Shock and Awe, exclusively on Vidgo, I'll break down the most important issues of the week, asking bold and fresh questions and sitting down for exclusive interviews with America's top news makers. For a limited time, when you sign up for VidGo, you can also get a copy of my new book, Killing the Legends, free and get $15 off VidGo's premium service. So please go to VidGo, vidgo.com/BillBook. Sign up now. I had a debate whether to run this soundbite or not. NBC News controls its network presentation, the Today Show, Lester Holt's Nightly News, the Sunday thing, Meet the Press. But it also controls its cable arm, MSNBC, which is a lunatic asylum, literally. So in order to cover the storm, you got to get away from politics, right? No. So Joy Reid, I mean, look, I'm not going to say any more than that. She compares people in Florida who are fleeing the storm to migrants, undocumented migrants coming to the USA. Go.
And be careful about attacking people who have to move to save their own lives and safety, because you never know when it's your people that have to move, when it's your people who have to migrate, when it's your people who have to get on that road. So just a thought.
A dumb thought. Right. Just a thought, a stupid thought. There's no comparison between coming to the United States without documentation and trying to get out of the way of a hurricane. But she made it. Now, I don't care. Do you? Do you care what she says? I don't care. All right, nobody watches her. I mean, maybe she gets 1 million people a night to watch her. But what is strange is that NBC, absolutely no standards at all. I mean, they just let this stuff go on. You would think there would be maybe an editor saying, you know, maybe we don't want to politicize the storm today when people are dying in it. Maybe we don't want to do that today. No. I think about the old NBC, Huntley Brinkley, Brokaw, things like that. It couldn't be more different. All right, El Paso. So small town on the border, poor, and now it's flooded, as you know, with undocumented migrants. So El Paso, the city says they got to pay $89 million to handle the migrants that come in. And of course, the city doesn't have that. So the federal government is reimbursing some of the money, but not a lot of it. So the city is racking up debt all over the place to try to feed, house, and transport people who are illegally crossing the border. That's okay with the Biden administration. I don't seem to mind that. All right. In fact, the Biden administration is kicking 41 million taxpayer dollars. It's unbelievable. To a group called Akashe Center for Justice. This is a far, far, far left Soros group. Soros doesn't run it, but he's akin to it. All right? The Akashe Center for Justice. 41 million taxpayer dollars goes to them. And you know what their function is? To get the illegals in America away from Homeland Security. To harbor them. Biden's doing this. 41 million. 6 legal services contracts. Food. Okay. So some of you get mad at me when I talk about good diet and I'm not the food police. In fact, I had a little cup of ice cream last night. It was very good. Once a week. It's my ice cream ration. But sugar is killing Americans. And it'll slowly kill you. So it's not killing you right away. It's like Muhammad Ali in Killing the Legends. Unlike Elvis and Lennon, he didn't die instantly. It was a slow death for Ali. If you are eating a lot of sugar and drinking all the sugar drinks, you're going to die slowly and painfully. Because sugar is as bad as nicotine. But you'll never hear that because the sugar industry, the food industry, is so powerful, gives so much money to politicians, you're not going to get it. So sugar is not your friend, all right? And there are a lot of good, tasty alternatives, but you got to look for them. and sometimes they cost more. But if you're drinking 12 ounces of Coke or Pepsi every day, or Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper, it's only a matter of time. So the stats are grim. I mean, about 45% of American adults are obese, not chubby, out of control. And 37 million Americans have diabetes, 11% of the population. The diabetes, that can run in your family, but it was like 2-3% before all the processed sugar. So anyway, the reason I'm telling you this is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, is now going to put labels on food that say healthy. So you're in the grocery store and you're looking at salad dressing or whatever it may be. Okay, cereal, big offender. Tony the Tiger, Tony the Tiger should weigh 800 pounds. Okay? If you're eating those sugar frosted flakes every day. So anyway, the federal government is getting into the food warning business, but it's not going to label food unhealthy. It's not going to do that. It's just going to say healthy on it. Now, this is a good thing to me. Now, I always read the label of anything that I'm consuming, but most people don't do that. I turn it around. I want to know what's coming in. I did not used to do that when I was a younger man, okay, because I was so active that I could burn off everything because of, I played all these sports and I'm running around and I was always moving. Well, then you get older, you don't do that as much. I have a crushing workload that keeps me on my butt way too much. So now I have to watch it because I don't want to get diabetes type 2. And I don't want, if you take a lot of sugar, your skin deteriorates, your teeth and gums deteriorate. Sugar is a killer. So I like this. I want the federal government to do these kinds of things, but I don't want them to be the food police. So if you want to have a taco or pizza, you go right ahead and have it. I do. If I want to have pizza, I have it. But I ration it. All right, so that I'm not consuming bad things that are going to hurt me. And you would think that most Americans would be on board. They are not. Fast food now, 33% of the American population eats some kind of fast food every day. Every day. Greasy, salty, sugary. It's awful for you. Iran. It's a fascinating story because this could lead to something, and I hope it does. I'm praying it does. I'm not praying to Allah because I don't believe in Allah. All right, I'm praying to the Christian God, the God, a Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. So Allah is out of my equation, but I want the Persian government to fall in Iran, okay, because it's evil. If you read Killing the Killers, it's evil. So a 22-year-old woman, Masha Amini, was arrested earlier this month because her hijab that hides her hair was askew, so you could see a little bit of her hair. So the cops take her into custody, beat the living hell out of her, and she dies. Can you imagine this? So the police in Iran, it's a theocratic police force, which means the laws are based on their version of Islam. They can beat you to a pulp on anything. It's like the Gestapo in Nazi Germany. I've made the comparison before. Iran and Germany in the Third Reich, it's the same. There's no difference. Iran might not have concentration camps, but they'll take a 22-year-old in and kill her, which they did. Now, word got out, which is very unusual in Iran because the government controls the press. So I opened the Daily Chatter today, which is our foreign news partner. And as I told you yesterday, I get sent every morning, and you can too. Just go to dailychatter.com. The Foreign Dispatches. This is their lead story. And the Iranian police are now trying to contain demonstrations all over the country. At least 1,200 people have been arrested. 76 Iranians have been killed by the police for this. Now, this is generated by Iranian women mostly, but you see some men there as well. All right, because of this young woman. This could be the tipping point. The Persians, and they are Persians, Iran is like a phony name they just made up in the theocracy. But the Persians are getting killed economically. They have no freedom. You got to figure that they're pretty much fed up with this, right? And this could be the tipping point because it was in Northern Ireland. Remember, in Northern Ireland, we're fighting the British and fighting the Catholics. The British were in and all of that. It never ended. They called it the Troubles. And people are dying all over the place, getting blown up. And the women said, no, you're going to stop. On both sides. Okay? You're going to stop. And it stopped. Mostly. So I'm hoping that Iran is going to tip and the mullahs will get overthrown. Now, it's a long shot, I understand. Children have been targeted by the mullahs. It's just... I've never been to Iran, but of course I've been to Iraq and Kuwait, which are right on the border. And I know a lot of Iranians. There's a big community on the North Shore of Long Island. They fled. It's one of the worst governments on this planet. That's all I can say. Do you care about your privacy? Giant tech companies and different alphabet agencies within the U.S. government are spying on our messages, abusing our privacy, monetizing our data. Frankly, you are probably not paying enough attention to what's going on, and neither am I. Secure, spelled S-E-K-U-R, has proprietary technology allowing you to send messages and emails encrypted and hosted in Switzerland. This means they are not subject to the Cloud Act. They're only subject to Swiss laws, which are some of the safest in the world. Secure is a company that actually cares about your freedom and privacy. That's why they built this platform and why they are sponsoring my program. Best of all, they are offering 15% off when you use promo code BILL. So please go to secure.com, that's SEKUR.com, use promo code BILL. For less than $10, you can get Secure today. Okay, final thought of the day. You may remember that in 2011, I appeared on the Rizzoli and Isles television program. Okay, it was a blast. Well, tonight, the episode, Can I Get a Witness, is on Lifetime, 10 p.m. Here is a look.
I can't believe it, it's him.
Hey, you pinheads, you can't cut.
We're patriots on official business, mister.
Hi, what's your name?
Her adrenal glands are overproducing adrenaline. It dilates the blood vessels and makes it hard to talk.
Fascinating. What's her name?
Angela Rizzoli.
Thank you, Madeline.
With two Z's. Is this beautiful young lady your daughter?
Yes, this is Madeline.
Oh, I have a daughter too. Her name is Jane.
Detective Jane Rizzoli?
Yes, of course you know her. You're covering her case.
I'd love to get her on the factor.
Oh, I'm sure she would love to be your guest.
Excellent.
Let me give you her cell phone number.
Angela.
It's 617 555 30.
Excuse me.
I had such a good time with Angie Harmon and the crew. Anyway, you might want to tape it if you don't stay up that late, but it's worth watching. That was November 28th, 2011. Rizzoli and Isles, Can I Get a Witness? On tonight, Lifetime TV at 10 p.m. Eastern. So I did a few of those. I did a bunch of guest shots. I did some movies. I was on Iron Man 2. what's the big Michael Bay's Transformers 2 I was in. I always had a great time. They were, but the Rizzoli and Isles was the best. We really had fun. And the episode hangs together. And the reason I was in it was because one of my friends who I work with at Inside Edition wrote the show. And she was great. I don't want to embarrass her, but the whole thing really worked well. So if you do get to watch it, drop me a line, bill@BillO'Reilly.com. And if you're watching Janet Tamaro, I appreciate you putting me in Rizzoli and Isles. And I appreciate all of you listening and watching to the No Spin News tonight. Don't forget Killing the Legends, and we will see you again soon. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. We all know that. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, not only predict a recession, but are using scary terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. So, you need to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Please call them today, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers, are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532.